Yo guys, and as you can tell by the thumbnail and by the title of this video, I am doing the Smackdown before Crown Jewel, and I'm actually filming this video on the day of Smackdown instead of technically after Smackdown, because yes, in America it's on at like 8 p.m, but here in the UK it's on at 1 a.m in the morning, so technically in a way I always film my Smackdowns on the day that I watch SmackDown, but this SmackDown was actually live on the day that I'm filming this review at a normal, reasonable time, not at 1 a.m in the morning. So I'm actually filming this straight after a SmackDown instead of 12, 13 hours after SmackDown. Um, but I felt that last night's SmackDown was a good go home show. I feel like the majority of the matches that are happening on Crown Jewel tomorrow, which starts at 1 p.m. UK, Northern Ireland and Ireland time, on Netflix, by the way, the majority of matches are like Raw based. Like Roman and Bronson's match, they're both on Raw. The Kabuki Warriors and Rhea and Io, they're all on Raw. Seth Rollins is on Raw. AJ Styles is a Raw superstar. Who else have we got? Stephanie is a Raw superstar. So like the majority of superstars that are performing on Crown Jewel tomorrow are officially under the Raw brand, not SmackDown. So I feel like the majority of everything that's happening tomorrow, match wise, was mostly done on Raw's go home show that's just happened. Which I will leave in the description down below if you want to go and check out my Raw review. So not a lot happened on the go home show for Crown Jewel that's happening tomorrow on SmackDown, like I've just explained. So it was a good go home show for a PLE, but not in terms of match wise that we're seeing tomorrow. Obviously we saw Stephanie and Tiffany tag up together. Cody Rhodes had a segment that we'll speak about in a minute. And I think that was it. We didn't really get anything Cena and Styles. No, not really, apart from the Cena like video package. We didn't get anything Rhea and Io and Kabuki Warriors. Not on the live TV anyway. We got that on the kickoff beforehand on when that happened on YouTube earlier this morning. So we had some go home show angles for the kickoff show when it comes to the matches tomorrow, but not really much to take from this SmackDown. This SmackDown was more of a SmackDown for Australia, for the Australian fans to get themselves hyped up, ready for Crown Jewel tomorrow with a good SmackDown. And did SmackDown deliver with a good SmackDown today? Yes, the fuck they did. It was so good from start to finish. Such a good show. As you can tell by the thumbnail, I did give it a 5 out of 5 because I did feel, as a SmackDown overall, it was fantastic. And you can really tell that WWE have made changes to the creative team, and you can see it already that last night's SmackDown was just built up in a way to make us more interested in SmackDown, and there's so many different angles that WWE could be going creatively with last night's SmackDown that we will talk about obviously as this review goes on. But yeah, no, a really good SmackDown. Are you guys looking forward to Crown Jewel tomorrow? I am 100%. I cannot wait for Crown Jewel tomorrow. It's going to be absolutely epic. Hopefully, yeah, no, I am very, very excited for it. I have got a white background going on in the background because I'm filming this obviously later in the day after SmackDown was just finished, so it's starting to get a little bit dark outside, so the quality was a little bit like greyish tint to it, but the white background is making me look really, really, really white, so I'm gonna change it and just go back to doing this instead. I'll have it on here. Hang on guys, hang on. There we go. So I'm not actually on the actual white screen itself, but it's kind of making the screen a little bit brighter for you guys, so sorry that the quality is kind of a little bit of a greyish tint to it. Yeah, I'm filming this at 10 to 5, so it is getting a little bit dark outside, so yeah. But But we kicked off last night's Smackdown with Cody Rhodes. I did give it a low 4 out of 5. I did feel it was a good segment, and Cody delivered a good promo. Always does. I don't feel that there's really a time where Cody delivers like a really shit promo, because he is very good on the mic. Very, very good. But I gave it a low 4 because I kind of was expecting something from Paul Heyman or The Vision or Seth, like it's something during that segment. Wasn't really expecting Seth Rollins to come out, but I was expecting Paul Heyman at least to come out and say something to Cody. But we literally just got Cody and that was it. So I did give it a low 4 because I was expecting a little bit more. But to be honest with you, this whole storyline that they've done with Seth and Cody, considering that this is just a one-off feud for the Crown Jewel Championship, has been absolutely fantastic. So I can't really fault WWE and come at WWE for this slight segment just not living up to what I was expecting, sort of thing. But no, it was still really good. The arena is for the, I don't know if it's, I'm presuming that's the arena that they're performing Crown Jewel at, I presume. I think it's in the same arena. I don't think they're going to a different arena for Crown Jewel in Australia. I know everything's happening in Perth, but is it the same arena for all 3 shows, or is Crown Jewel tomorrow at a different arena? I'm presuming it's at the same. And if it is, what a weird looking arena. I'm sorry, but that arena was so bizarre looking. Like there was people like in the corner, and I was like trying to figure out for ages how the hell they got to them seats, because the barrier here is so like high up that you can't see people walking like to their seats. So I was sitting there like being like, how the fuck did they all get to their seats? And there's just people like just plotted like everywhere. Like it was so like an unorganized arena, but in a good way. But it just looks so weird. So I had to just comment on that a little bit. I'm going to start. I didn't do this, but I'm going to start doing this. Kind of taking a little bit off of Santi here. If you know who Santi Zappa is, a massive wrestling content creator. And I'm going to start rating crowds because I find it intriguing to do that from now on, because sometimes a show can be really shit but the crowd make it really good, and then sometimes a show can be really good but the crowd make it really shit. And sometimes it can be moderate, like the show's good and the show's okay and the crowd is okay. And I felt that the crowd made SmackDown a little bit shit. Not shit because it was a very good overall like show from start to finish, and I did give it, like I've already said, like a low 5 out of 5 show. But the crowd were not great. I feel like it would have been a high 5 out of 5 show overall if the crowd were a little bit more rowdy and a little bit more louder and just chanted a lot more. Like it was very, very quiet for the majority of SmackDown. Like I can't really pinpoint moments where the crowd was quite crazy. I mean, they were loud for Cody Rhodes. They were loud for the main event towards the end of the main event. I wouldn't say the majority of it. They weren't that loud for it. They were loud for Tiffany and Stephanie. They were loud for Sammy and Shinsuke, but they weren't that great. They weren't as great as I was expecting. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if it's just because I obviously I wasn't there, so I don't know how the crowd actually was being there, but everybody can tell when watching a Raw, SmackDown or PLE from the UK or France that the crowd is fucking incredible. So the crowd's kind of been that good in Australia, because if the crowd was that good, we would be able to hear it, because we can always hear how loud the UK and French crowd is. But I don't know, I just felt like the Australian crowd was like this. They were okay. Hoping that they're better tomorrow. Hoping so anyway. But yeah, I just wanted to comment on that a little bit, because I think that's quite interesting to insert that into my videos from now on. Cody now understands how important this match is with Seth Rollins tomorrow. Paul Heyman has obviously planted seeds very well in Cody's head to make him understand that he can see Seth Rollins' point of view with how important tomorrow is. Seth will do anything to protect WWE, and he has. Like, Seth is a business guy. There is a word for it, but I can't remember. CM Punk called him it. Yeah, no, I can't remember what the word was, but CM Punk is not what? Wait on a minute. No, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is a businessman. Like, he is very much the puppet of whoever's in charge. He will do anything, even if he doesn't necessarily agree with it himself. He will just do anything. When CM Punk will actually, like, and Cody Rhodes and some other people will actually stand up for themselves if something they doing they don't like, or they leave when it gets tough, whatever. But Seth sticks it out, and he's a very company guy. There's a company guy, something like that. Which is good on Seth, for sure. He's never ever left WWE. He's never ever talked shit about WWE. He's a very company guy. And yeah, like Cody said, he would do anything to protect WWE, like absolutely anything. And Cody said that the QB1 is just a nickname that he was given. He doesn't feel that he's QB1. He feels that there are many people that are QB1, Seth Rollins included. He also said Randy Orton. He also said Rhea Ripley. He also said Jey Uso. What the fuck? How did I say? Why did I pronounce Jey Uso really weirdly then? He also said Roman Reigns, and then he also said CM Punk. And when he said CM Punk, because he said CM Punk just before he said Seth Rollins, that was when I was thinking, okay, maybe we're now going to get Seth Rollins coming out to exchange words one last time with Cody Rhodes, but no, we literally just had a promo with Cody and that was it. But what the fuck? I don't know if you can hear that, but what the actual fuck? But yeah, I don't know if. No, hang on, that's completely threw me off. Cody was given that QB1 nickname by Triple H, I want to say, or Nick Khan, or whoever it was that gave him that name. I think it was Triple H that gave him the nickname QB1 quarterback. So technically, he is right. He was given that name. He's not just, fought to everyone and said fuck you to everyone else backstage, being like, no, I'm the leader. He's just been given that role because WWE trusts him, and clearly he's very good at it because he was doing so many press conferences and so many media literally straight away when he flew into Australia. Like, the guy was on the go straight away. So he is worthy of leading WWE, but Seth feels that he is the better man to lead WWE into the future. I feel like Seth's kind of already done that, though, in a way. Like, I get what he means, even more. Like, he wants to lead, obviously, Braun and Bronson Reed into the future even more. But I feel like Seth's already done that. Like, Seth's already leaded WWE into the future. Alongside a lot of other people, like Drew McIntyre, for example, Roman Reigns, for example. There's a few other people as well, but just off the top of my head. But Seth is one of the greatest of all time, and in my opinion, the greatest of all time, WWE currently. Just personally for me, he is. I'm not going to go into why I think he's the GOAT of the WWE because that'll just be too long, but I feel like he's already led WWE into the future. But I feel like Seth is definitely the right man for the job to carry that on. Not Cody Rhodes. I mean, I think Cody Rhodes has done a good job, but Seth is a lot better than him, overall career-wise. So Seth needs this win tomorrow, and I'm really, really fucking hoping that Seth does win tomorrow. Really hoping. And then Perth started calling Seth a wanker. He threw the mic to Wade Barrett, and Wade Barrett said to Cody what they were saying because Cody couldn't understand it, which was quite funny. And then Cody caught the mic and was very shocked at himself that he caught it. And then Cody said that Rollins can't beat him, and that was pretty much it. The bullet points I got from the segment. Anyways, there was a few little bits here and there that Cody also said in that segment, but I just took bullet points. I don't obviously write down every little thing that people say because that would just be really weird and too long of a video if I'd done that. But yeah, no, I gave the whole segment overall a low 4 out of 5 because, especially after Cody mentioned CM Punk's name, I was expecting Seth to come out and just exchange words for a few minutes, or Heyman to even exchange words with Cody for a few minutes or something. along the lines of the vision anyway to interrupt Cody. But we literally just got Cody Rhodes, and that was it. So yeah, segment was a low 4 out of 5, but definitely it's hyped me up just that little bit more than I already am for their match tomorrow at Crown Jewel. Yeah, ignore me. I'm playing with my hair. Drew McIntyre then attacked Jacob Fatu backstage when Jacob went to face with Cody Rhodes, saying that after Crown Jewel that Jacob wants the WWE Undisputed Championship. I would love to see a feud between Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes. Like, Cody doesn't need to be a heel and Jacob doesn't need to be a heel. They can both be baby faces, and I would love to see it either way. Like, I don't care they're both baby faces. I would love to see Jacob Fatu have a feud with Cody Rhodes. Like, that would be something like... Obviously, Cody and Jacob had, like, beef in the past when Jacob was a part of the bloodline, but just a feud with Jacob and Cody Rhodes, yes, give it to me. I want that, 100%. But before Jacob could carry on speaking, he was then attacked by Drew McIntyre. They also then brawled again later that night when Drew was having a segment with Nick Aldis, the general manager of Smackdown, and he announced that... I was hoping it was going to be announced for Perth, Australia tomorrow at Crown Jewel, but it was announced that next week on Friday Night Smackdown, Jacob Fatu will go one-on-one with Drew McIntyre, and then, yeah, Jacob then attacked Drew McIntyre again, and a brawl started for the second time in the night. So yeah, no, but I'm down for this Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre feud, and I can't wait to see their match next week. I think it could be like a certified like 4-star classic, hopefully, even a 5-star classic, hopefully. But I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens on next week's SmackDown in that match between them two. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to see where Jacob goes after this feud with Drew McIntyre. Does he then go after Cody Rhodes, or does he go after Solo Sikoa if Solo was to win back the United States Championship in a match that we're going to speak about when we speak about that? But I don't know what's next for Jacob after the Drew McIntyre feud. I'm very intrigued to see where that all leads to and where this feud with Drew does lead to. But yeah. And then we had the US Open Challenge from Sami Zayn, and the person that answered the US Challenge was none other than Shinsuke Nakamura. I was actually expecting them to leave this until a little bit later on in the US Open Challenge, but no, they done it today in Perth, Australia. I predicted on I think it was the Monday Night Raw review or the Crown Jewel prediction that I done, that it was going to be Grayson Waller that answered the call. Actually, no, it was last week's SmackDown that I predicted that it was going to be Grayson Waller, because obviously he's from Australia. So I was expecting just to see the pop of, you know, Grayson Waller getting to perform in his hometown of Australia, well, his home country of Australia, not his hometown, but his home country of Australia. So I was actually really expecting it to be Grayson Waller. But I'm glad it wasn't, and I'm glad it was Shinsuke Nakamura, because what we got during this match and after the match as well, when it ended in disqualification, was way worth it being Shinsuke instead of Grayson, because Grayson still got to do the kickoff show earlier on today, and he also got to perform in front of the Australian crowd at WWE main event. So he still got to perform in front of Australia, and he still got to do something to do with Australia in the kickoff show earlier on that day. So still happy for Grayson Waller, but was actually really expecting him to answer the Open Challenge. But yeah, no, it ended up being Shinsuke. It was very, very 50-50. Fantastic match. Well, good match. But then we had first off, we had a nasty looking knee from the top rope to the back of Sami Zayn's neck that looks fucking nasty. And then as the match was going from decent, very, very like high decent, to good, we had a guy in a hoodie with face paint on drag Shinsuke out of the ring. That then caused a disqualification, and we had the return of Tama Tonga. I knew straight away when I saw the face paint that it was Tama Tonga, because I've seen him in pictures and clips before with that face paint on, so I knew immediately it was Tama Tonga within like the first 5 seconds of seeing him. But Tama Tonga is back, And not only was he back with face paint, everybody part of MFT and apart from Solo Sikoa all came out wearing face paint, and that was so fucking cool. Like, I was not expecting them to bring back Tama Tonga like that with face paint on. I was expecting him to come back at some point in the next like couple of weeks. Wasn't expecting it to be so soon as today, but wasn't expecting him to come back with face paint. I was just expecting him to just attack some random wrestler in the middle of a match or something and just insert themselves somewhere. But they've done it perfectly last night, and the face paint on all of them just looked so fucking cool, like so cool. And I'm so intrigued and interested to see where this all goes, because not only did they attack Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn, which now means Shinsuke is now a babyface, I presume. Later on that night, we saw MFTs again, which we will get onto when we get onto the match that they interrupted. But yeah, no. It was very close to being a low 4 out of 5 match, but I did give the match as a whole a high 3 out of 5 because I didn't feel like it quite got to the 4 mark because of obviously what happened with Tama Tonga and the MFTs coming out and attacking Shinsuke and Sami. So it was kind of cut short from being a good match. So I gave it a high 3 out of 5. But yeah, like I said, I am very intrigued to see where this whole storyline goes with the MFTs, Shinsuke, Sami, and some other people later on in the night that we will talk about. We then got the tag team match between Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton versus Kiana James and Julia. I'd say her last name then, but she doesn't have a last name. I gave this match a low 3 out of 5. I felt it was actually a pretty decent tag team match between all 4 of them. All 4 got a pretty good showing. It wasn't just, well, I'd say all 4 got a really good showing. I'd say Tiffany got the least showing in this match. It was mainly Julia and Kiana. I can never pronounce her name every time. I pronounce it once perfectly and then I just butcher it the second time. Kiana, see? Fuck. And Julia were just beating down Stephanie for 90% of this match, and then Stephanie was able to get the hot tag on Tiffany because the crowd were chanting "We want Tiffany." Tiffany done a few moves here and there, got beaten down a little bit by Kiana and Julia a little bit as well, and then she was able to pull off the prettiest moonsault to pick up the victory against Kiana James and Julia and Stephanie, and Tiffany were victorious. So yeah, I gave it a low 3 out of 5 because I didn't think it was awful or meh. I felt it was a low decent because, like I said, everybody had a bit of a showing and it was a pretty decent match to watch. So yeah, and then we did get a stare down with Tiffany and Stephanie after the match in front of the Crown Jewel Women's Championship. Yeah, I'm excited for the match. It hasn't made me more excited for the match tomorrow because they did have a tag team match together and they had a stare down, but that was really it for those two. There hasn't really been much build up for this storyline going into Crown Jewel between these two. I feel like it didn't really need to have like an incredible storyline though, to be honest with you, because it's just a one-off exhibition match between Tiffany and Stephanie. Because for one, Tiffany's on Smackdown, Stephanie's on Raw, so they don't need some crazy ass storyline to build up for this match. So I'm not bothered that the storyline hasn't been like crazy. It's been pretty decent to watch, but I'm excited for Stephanie vs Tiffany, but it's probably the match that I'm least looking forward to because I don't know, but I am intrigued to see how their chemistry is though between those two. Very intrigued, but I guess we'll have to wait and see till tomorrow. Yeah. We did have Zaruka and Zahara. I can never know how to pronounce her name. Demand a championship opportunity against Alexa and Charlotte Flair, the current women's tag team champions. I'm so glad that Zaria got to have a little mini segment with Alexa and Charlotte backstage in Australia, because I watched a YouTube video of her and Zaruka and Kian. I can't remember how to pronounce her name. Hang on, let me have a look. Cameron. Yeah, Carmen. Her name's Carmen. Yeah, yesterday. I literally watched that yesterday, and I was like, and she said that she hasn't been in Australia for a while. So when she came up on the screen, on SmackDown last night. So used to watching it the night before. This earlier today, I was like, yes, Sahara's actually gotten to do something in her hometown of Australia. Well, not her hometown, her home country of Australia. So that was really nice to see a little segment for those four. And it was a really decent segment as well. Alexa and Charlotte have granted Sol Ruka and Sahara to have a match for the Women's Tag Team Championships. But they didn't say when. Like, they didn't say, oh, we will grant you this Women's Tag Team Championship next week on SmackDown. So, normally they tell us when, but we didn't get no confirmation of when it's going to be. I'm presuming it's going to be next week on SmackDown. But is it going to be a surprise match that's going to be added onto the Crown Jewel PLE? Possibly, because we haven't got a championship match being defended. Like, there's no championship being defended on Crown Jewel PLE tomorrow. So are they going to add Charlotte and Alexa versus Ruka and Sahara tomorrow? That's interesting. But yeah. I hope so. But I'm assuming it's going to be next week. But yeah. Anyways, we had a tag team championship match next between the Street Profits and the White Six. I gave it a high 3 out of 5. I didn't think it was great or good. I felt it was high decent. It got very chaotic at the end with everybody just flying everywhere and everybody getting involved. Like B-Fab got involved, Nikki Cross got involved, Big Red Eric Rowan got involved. God, that was a mouthful. So everybody like started to get involved, and it got pretty good towards the end of the match. So I gave it like a high 3 out of 5. And then the Wyatts did retain. I was expecting a heel turn by Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, but I don't think they're now going down that route at the moment, because Montez and Angelo Dawkins have recently got their old theme tune back. So, and literally today got their old theme tune back. So I can't see them going down the route of breaking up just yet. I can see it happening, but they've only just started this slight feud within the Street Profits that they're going to split up. Like, it's only been like a couple of weeks, so I'm not bothered that it's still carrying on. I hope it doesn't carry on for too long though, but I'm glad. I was okay, not glad, but I was okay with it not happening on tonight's tonight's SmackDown. No, on the SmackDown I just watched. It's so weird saying that I've just watched it, because I feel like I watched it ages ago, like yesterday. Yeah, so I'm not bothered that it didn't happen today. But yeah, and then we got a face-off between the White Six and MFTs again. They have also inserted themselves into the White Six business. And I did find it really funny that Tongaloa and Nikki Cross were the people to go face off with one another. Like the weakest link out of the groups. No offense to Tongaloa, and Nikki Cross, but they are the weaker ones out of the groups. And I found that absolutely hilarious that those two were like paired up with one another. But yeah, I am so down for the MFTs and the Wyatt Six to have a feud with one another, and I'm so down for the MFTs and Shinsuke and Sammy to have a feud with one another. Like, I am very intrigued to see where all of this goes, because MFTs are getting themselves involved in everybody's business, by the looks of things. So it's going to be very intriguing to see how WWE do creatively with that, considering that WWE have announced, well, it's been reported, not announced, but they haven't announced themselves, but it's been reported that WWE have made a significant change in the creative team to make storylines better and Raw and SmackDown's better. And I do have to credit them that last night's SmackDown has felt very different compared to SmackDowns in the last previous weeks. Something just felt different about it last night, and I feel that the creative team have slotted in perfectly already and are doing a fantastic job already, because both Raw and SmackDowns this week felt different. Like, felt just, I don't know, it just felt a little bit different to the previous ones. So hopefully it's working already, that the creative team are going to do very, very well and it just doesn't go downhill again. But I guess we have to wait and see what happens between this whole MFTs, White Six, Shinsuke and Sami Zayn situation. Is Sami Zayn now officially feuding with Solo Sikoa and the MFTs and Shinsuke Nakamura, or is he still doing the US Open Challenge? I guess we'll have to wait and see to see what happens on next week's Smackdown. But yeah. Before we get on to the main event, the only match, I presume, because like I said, Zahara and Zoruka versus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship wasn't announced for next week's Friday Night SmackDown, so not too sure if that's being added for Crown Jewels tomorrow. Like I've already said, hopefully. But one match that we do know that's happening on next week's SmackDown, I've already spoke about, but the match between Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre will happen on next week's SmackDown in San Jose, California, I think it is. Yeah, it is, because Drew McIntyre said he's going to humiliate Jacob Fatu in his hometown of California. So, yeah, but that's it. That's the only match we've had announced for SmackDown. Normally, we get a little preview of what's going to be happening on next week's SmackDown before the main event, but we didn't get that. We literally have one match officially made for next week. That is it, and that is the match, like I've already said a couple of times, between Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. So next week's SmackDown is going to be very, very interesting. Right, I'm back. But now on to the main event. So there's not a lot I've spoken about when it comes to last night's SmackDown. To be honest with you, SmackDown was there wasn't a lot of things that happened on last night's SmackDown. We got 4 matches. Four matches. All of them were decent to good. We had technically we had 2 interviews. We had 1 interview. We had 1 interview with The Miz, and then we had a couple of segments with Drew and Jacob, and one of them Cody was involved in. We had a segment with Zahara, Zoruka, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss. We had a couple of segments in the ring, Cody Rhodes being one of them, and no, that was it. We had 1 segment in the ring where someone actually spoke in the ring. Yeah. We had like the face off between the White Six and the MFTs. And we had like the beatdown of Sami Zayn and Shinsuke. Yeah, there wasn't a lot happened on this SmackDown last night. I felt that they were allowing the main event of SmackDown last night to have a bit of time and not just be like 11-minute match. I think that's what the idea was going into SmackDown last night, was to give the beginning segment a lot of time. Well, not a lot of time, but a beginning segment with Cody, like a bit of time, because obviously Cody's got a big match with Seth Rollins tomorrow. They allowed obviously Charlotte and I just said Alexa, Tiffany and Stephanie to have their little face off before their match tomorrow. We had a really cool moment with Tama Tonga returning to WWE after injury and attacking Shinsuke and Sami, and we had a cool moment with the MFTs and White Six facing off in the dark together. And then we had the good main event. I wouldn't say it was fantastic. I'm not going to say it was a fantastic main event. If it was a bit longer, I think it would have been fantastic. But for some reason, last night's SmackDown was cut short. It ended at 2:53. So it was cut short by 7 minutes, which is very weird, because I feel like that's the first time that WWE have gone under 2 hours, because normally they sometimes go over. They've never gone under 2 hours before, so that was very odd, because I was like, it's already 3 o'clock, like, really? That match has been like, what, 20, I think it started at, I'm trying to think what time it was, 2:33, yeah, 2:33 the match started. So I was like, okay, we're getting quite a long match here. What, like just under 25 minutes? No, just over 25-minute match. I was like, okay, a 25-minute main event. This is good. This is what this SmackDown needs, for sure. But yeah, SmackDown was cut short last night. It ended, and I was like, okay, I don't feel it's been 25 minutes, but maybe it has. But no, so that was a bit weird that it ended quite early last night, SmackDown. But yeah, no, I didn't think the Last Man Standing match was a fantastic match, but definitely did give it a high 4 out of 5 because the ending of this match was just fucking insane. And I'm hoping that is now a part of Alistair's like character. He does that a lot more in his matches. When it's obviously a no disqualification type of match, but yeah, that was brilliant. The ending of this match. But yeah, we had kicks and kicks from both Alistair and Damien, like constantly just kicking the shit out of one another throughout this match. Like from start to finish, there was constant kicks to one another, elbows, forearms, just very heavy hitting based match. And that's what I love about Damien and Alistair is that they're both very similar to one another, and they just deliver like MMA/UFC type like kicks and elbows and forearms one another, and that's what makes this feud for me so interesting. Is it's not wrestling, it's hardcore like fighting with these two because of just how their style is. So I love that. And then we also had a lovely looking knee to the stairs to Damien by Alistair. We had Priest. What the hell did I put here? Oh yeah, we had Priest trying to throw the steps onto Alistair, but Alistair was able to move out the way before he was demolished by the stairs. We had kendo sticks to each other while Damien was on the ropes, which I found so fucking cool. That Damien was on the ropes while hitting Aleister Black with the kendo stick, and Aleister Black was hitting him back while he was on the ropes and was able to keep his balance. What the heck? Keep his balance. That was a very sick moment to watch. And then we got 2 razor edges by Damien onto the announce table to Aleister Black. He managed to get up for both of them, of course. And then I didn't notice it at first, but as she got closer, I was like, am I tripping? Or was that Zelina Vega? Like, I kept looking at her and being like, if there's a really, really close lookalike to Zelina in the audience, or that's Zelina Vega, because at first I just kept looking at her and being like, hey, I'm really confused. What's Zelina Vega doing there? And obviously I know she's married to Aleister Black, but I was like, huh? Zelina Vega's getting herself involved and we're going to get a pairing of Zelina Vega and Aleister Black again? Yes, the fuck. Please do that. Like a dark Zelina character. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, give it to me. Yes, 100%. So that was very intriguing, to have Zelina come out and help and plead with Damien to not kick Aleister off of what they were on. That was very, very cool, and I'm very, very intrigued to see where this whole Aleister and Zelina Vega goes now, because obviously they are married in real life. So that's very interesting and intriguing. But the way that Aleister Black won was when Zelina was pleading to Damien to not kick Aleister off of this stage that he was on. Aleister got a lighter or fireball or something from Zelina Vega anyway, and Zelina moved out of the way. I actually thought that she was gonna why can't I think of what the word is? That's completely gone out of my head. Low blow. I did think at first that Zelina was going to low blow Damian Priest, and that was her officially like kind of turning to the dark side, but she just moved out the way, and then Aleister lit Damien on fire. Like literally lit Damien's eye on fire, and it literally caught his hair, that it went even more in flame, because obviously he was wet from sweat, so it hit him, and then it went even fucking bigger because it hit the side of his hair where he was sweating loads. What the fuck? Like, WWE are now bringing fire into WWE? Yes. As long as they don't do it every single, like, match now. Like, I want this to be just Aleister's thing. Like, I don't want them to do an AEW where they just constantly do, like, these crazy things, like, every single time there's a crazy match happening. I'm hoping that this is kind of just, like, one-offs here and there, because it gets boring if they constantly do like crazy shit after crazy shit after crazy shit, because it becomes too predictable that some crazy ass shit's gonna happen, and that's what I don't like. I don't want the predictability of it, of when it's a no disqualification, a street fight, a last man standing, whatever it may be, that something like really, really, really crazy is gonna happen. Obviously, I want crazy moments, but not like that type of moment where someone gets their fucking eyebrow lit on fire. Like things like that, I hope that it happens every so often. And it's Alistair's thing. Like, Alistair is the only one that does that to people, because that will be a cool thing to add to Alistair's and Zelina's character, is that they use fire. Because also we haven't had fire in WWE since like 2006, or maybe a little bit earlier than that. But I feel like the last time I remember fire being involved, I think there could be a time where there was a fire, like a table being lit on fire or whatnot, and I feel like there maybe was. But the one that pops into my head is obviously the match between Mick Foley, or well, Mankind, and Edge, when Edge speared, I think, Mick Foley into the table that was lit on fire. I feel like there has been another moment since then that has involved fire, but that's the one that pops up in my head. But yeah, I hope that that's now Alistair's thing, that he lights people on fire, because that would just be fucking sick to add to WWE. I mean, we need something like that in WWE. Like, we need a little bit of that, like just a little bit. I don't want them to do it too much, because AEW fans will come at WWE saying that WWE's copying them, when that's not the case at all. Like, WWE are allowed to do things that AEW do, and AEW are allowed to do things that WWE do, because AEW literally copied the whole WrestleMania 40 storyline, with loads of people getting involved in the match between Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page. So the AEW literally copied that whole thing that happened at WrestleMania 40. Did they do a good job at it? Nowhere near as good as WrestleMania 40. No, not nowhere near as much as that. That end game for WrestleMania 40 between Roman and Cody will never ever be topped, and AEW will never ever fucking top that. But they tried. They tried their hardest, but it didn't work. But the AEW copy WWE sometimes. WWE can copy AEW sometimes, and it's not a nasty thing for each company to do. And I don't see it as them copying each other in like a vicious type of way. No, I'm trying to think of the word that begins with M, but I can't pronounce it. I'm very shit at pronouncing words, clearly. If you watch my videos for a long time, you would know. But yeah, the M word anyway. The M word. Can't think of what it is. Malicious. Yeah. Intent in both companies doing that. I'll just, yeah. But anyways, I enjoyed that, and I'm hoping that WWE now involve fire a little bit more, because that was such a sick ending to SmackDown. But yeah, Alistair was able to pick up the victory, because he then kicked what's his move called? Sorry, the Black Mass. He kicked Damien off of the top of the stage that they were on, and through a table, and Alistair was able to pick up the victory in the last man standing match, and was a great ending to SmackDown. But it did end a bit earlier than usual, which was very, very weird, but I'm not too bothered about it, because SmackDown was really good last night, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, guys, that was the review for SmackDown. I hope you have enjoyed this review. Let me know in the comments down below if you feel this SmackDown was as good as a 5 out of 5, or do you believe it was good but not quite a 5 out of 5, so you gave it a 4, or do you believe it was a decent show? There was a few moments here and there that you really personally enjoyed, or do you believe it was meh, like there wasn't really much in this SmackDown that you actually enjoyed, so you gave it a meh, or do you believe that this SmackDown was dreadful, awful, and you wished it never happened, so you gave it a 1 out of 5. Let me know, guys. Let me know what your rating is for this week's SmackDown, and are you looking forward to Crown Jewel tomorrow? And if you are, what match are you most looking forward to? Personally, it's got to be my boy Seth Rollins versus the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Definitely the match I am most looking forward to tomorrow. I don't know how white I look because of how dark it is outside, and this anyway, that threw me off. Jesus. But yeah, anyways, guys, this has been Charlie, and I will see you guys for the review for Crown Jewel, which will not be out tomorrow. I know that Crown Jewel's on early in the day, sorry, but it finishes quite late, and then we also have the post show as well, so I won't be doing a Crown Jewel review tomorrow. I'll be doing it on the Sunday after Crown Jewel had already happened. But yeah, guys, so look forward to that. Anyways, like I was saying, this has been Charlie, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.